What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to the MMA Savvy podcast. It's your favorite host, Ari Weiss, and today we'll be discussing UFC Fight Night Dolidze versus Hernandez that went down Saturday night in Vegas. Then we'll also analyze the current state of the middleweight division, which is a special segment dedicated to real fight fans. Then we'll end by previewing UFC 319 Du Plessis versus Chimaev that takes place in Chicago this coming weekend. In standard Savvy fashion, we'll go through the card, analyze all the big fights, and drop our official MMA Savvy fight picks. So with that, let's go straight to the card and get rolling. Okay, fight fans, so let's check this out. UFC Fight Night, Dolidze versus Hernandez. It was a pretty goddamn good card, I gotta say. I know I've been bashing the Apex, but Dana's finally getting more fans there. There was better crowd noise. I don't think it's fully built out yet, but this is an exciting progression of the Apex, and maybe I'll stop complaining for once. But anyway, I'm just gonna talk about the main event because, listen, I thought Dolidze was gonna show up. You guys know from my Instagram post that Richie's been rubbing in that I did take Dolidze. Listen, I knew Hernandez was going to win this fight, but I thought, why not take my boy Roman with that crazy submission skill set of Dolidze? And boy, was I wrong. I've been talking about Hernandez for months. I've been saying he's the new grappling superstar in the division, maybe a similar level to a Chimaev and maybe even better than a Bo Nickel. This could be the new American superstar we've been waiting for, baby. So let's talk about the fight. Round one was close. Dolidze was still in it in round one. Hernandez took his time. He went for a couple takedowns, and there was even a couple scrambles where Hernandez actually had top position and popped back up. And I was like, wow, he's respecting the ground game of Roman. I was a little bit shocked by that. And I was like, okay, this could be a great fight here. Roman got up a couple times in that first round, and he was in it. It was, I think Hernandez obviously won the first round, but it was close. And I thought, wow, this is going to be a real, high level fight back and forth. And then all of a sudden, round two, Hernandez gets comfortable, gets a couple takedowns, and Dolidze just gasses. By the end of the second round, the fight was just basically over. I mean, he was there in spirit and he was still fighting, but it was just, I was surprised his gas tank dwindled so quickly. Where was my guy Dolidze here? Hernandez weaponizes his cardio, his grappling, and then he all of a sudden looks like he's a great boxer out there, akin to a Cain Velasquez. And I like that Cormier was calling this out because it was like, man, he reminds you of a young Cain, just in a smaller weight class. And then the rest of the fight was just a total domination, just a complete obliteration. I mean, he had his way on the feet. He had his way on the ground. Dolidze was just sort of flopping around. The takedowns came so easy. I couldn't believe it. And on one end, you're sort of disappointed by Roman not showing up at all and not being able to fight back. I thought he was going to be in the fight a little bit more. But on the other hand, we got a superstar in the midst here, baby. And I've been saving it. He's won 8 straight now. We might be looking at a future champion here. His skill set is going to be so hard to deal with because of that just unbelievable grappling pressure, a lot like Chimaev, who we're going to talk about later. But then he's got pretty good hands too. And when he tires his foe out, it's just over. And so he goes through easy work, dominates, 4th round submission, not even a thought. And he just went from number 10 in the world to like, holy crap. Are we talking about a title shot? I think he's still a fight away, but he's going to be in that mix, and we're going to analyze that today. So normally what we do here is we look ahead because Nico's wondering, okay, who does he get next? So as you can see here, middleweight division, my #1 ranked division in the world right now. If you disagree, hit me up in the chat and I'll go toe-to-toe with you on why I think this is the #1 division in the world. But let me explain. We got Du Plessis at the top of the heap, and he fights in 1 week, and we're going to give our picks in a second. We got Du Plessis, the unstoppable South African, and he's already going against #3 in the world, Chimaev. We're going to analyze that pretty soon, so we already have that book. And then the #1 contender in the world, Imavov, is already slated to fight #6 Bahalyo. So that's already all booked there. Izzy still sitting there. He probably needs to take some time off, but he's still a contender. I still believe in him that he could maybe go on one final run or get a couple big, knockout victories to get him relevant again. Strickland's still sitting there at number 2, but we know he's always messing around and he got suspended, so we don't know how long he's out. So forget Izzy, forget Strickland right now. RDR is another one that just came off the monumental win against Whitaker. I know that was close. Nico's still pissed about the decision, but it did go his way, and he did look pretty good in some of those rounds, and he has the skill sets to maybe deal with some of these top competitors because at least he has the grappling, and you need that when you're dealing with a Du Plessis, a Chimaev, a Bahalyo, and now, of course, Hernandez. So don't forget RDR. I think he's probably going to sit there and wait for those next couple fights because Du Plessis Chimaev is in 1 week, right? Bahalyo versus Mavov is early September. So most likely everybody's going to wait and see what happens there. Then you come down. Cannonier is also fighting against Venom Page, who's actually not ranked here. So number 8, Cannonier, fights Venom Page this weekend as well. I think Whitaker needs to take a little time off. I think Dolidze maybe needs to take a little time off. Hernandez now is going to fly to Chicago. He's going to be there. I still think he needs a fight. I don't think he deserves a title shot yet, but now he's in the mix with RDR. I would actually love RDR Hernandez, but don't forget Brendan Allen because he also came off that huge win against Vettori. So Brendan Allen's there. Costa also beat Kopylov. He's in the mix. So if you look at all of this, this is why I say this is the #1 division in the world. There's so much action, so many viable contenders. So let's look at this one last time. Du Plessis Chimaev, we're about to get into. That's this Saturday night, okay? Then a couple weeks later in early September in Paris, Imavov versus Bahalyo. I think the winner there is going to be slated to then fight the winner of Du Plessis Chimaev. So that's kind of already booked there, unless it's a lackluster fight, but I think that's what's going to happen. So now you have RDR, you have Hernandez, you have Allen, you have all these other guys kind of sitting there waiting in the wings. And so I think they're going to be next in line. I'm sure they're going to wait until those fights in September, but why not book Hernandez, RDR right away, get that moving, and then maybe have Whitaker fight an Allen, fend him off and see if he's still relevant, or throw Costa in there and have a Costa-Whitaker rematch. Anyway, there's a lot of great options. It's the #1 weight class in the world. Argue with me in the comments if you disagree. Anyway, I hope you love these segments. This is what makes Savvy so special. It's our deep divisional analysis. No one else does this, baby. And now we're going to get to the main event. UFC 319, Du Plessis versus Chimaev. We've been waiting for this fight for all of our lives, it seems. This is going to be one of the biggest fights of the year. I'm jacked up. In Chicago, it's going to be a wild night. It's a great card, but this fight in particular, man, it's what we all come to the office for. It's a dream MMA fight. Chimaev looks like the boogeyman in the division. He's never lost. He's blitzkrieging through everybody. He beat Whitaker in such spectacular fashion, and we're all thinking, does he just do it to Du Plessis? But Du Plessis keeps beating all the doubters and turning away all the guys that we think are going to beat him. He's a beast. He's a Hulk. He might be able to deal with the grappling. We don't know. Anyway, our picks are coming up. Let's go through the card here. So, rapid fire. Tim Elliott, number 11 flyweight in the world, versus Kai Asakura, number 15 flyweight in the world. Let's look at the records in ceremonial fashion. Elliott's been a journeyman. He's 21-13. Kai, 21-5, the newcomer to the UFC. Let's look at Elliott now. Listen, you might scoff at his record, but look at him here. After losing to Nicolau, he's won 3 of 4. He beats Olembikov. He beats Altamirano. He gets submitted by Mokaev, but that guy was a stud, to then come back and submit Mudarji. So the guy's still a beast. He's won 3 of 4. Don't count my boy Elliott out. And he's still the number 11 ranked guy in the world. Now, if you look at Asakura, we all know that in his UFC debut, they fast-tracked him. I never loved that they gave him a direct Pantoja title fight. I think they just didn't have a great contender at the time, but I thought it was too soon. Let's look at what Asakura has done. So he was in Rizin, for people that don't know. He lost the title fight in 2021, but only to come out with back-to-back massive KOs in late 23, beating Archuleta, who, for people that don't know, was a Bellator star. And then he comes in, a lot of hype around him, great grappler, great submission skills, great hands, and then he comes up short and he loses by submission to Pantoja. But now this is a more fair pairing. This is probably how they should have brought Asakura into the UFC. So all three Savvy bros are taking Asakura, Wally, Rich, Nico. By the way, I'm going to be bringing up my Savvy co-host names as we go along, Rich and Nico, so there's no confusion. They're not on the show with me here today, but they do the picks with me, and they're other members of the show. Okay, let's move on. Cannonier, number 8 in the world middleweight. Michael Page, number 15. Let's take a gander at the records here. Cannonier, after all these years, is 18-8. Michael Page is 23-3. Damn. Let's take a look here. The Killer Gorilla. He looks like he's on top of the world after he beats Strickland and he beats Vettori. And then he was up on Imavov. Don't forget that he was up in that fight, but he got clipped late in the third and then ended up getting finished in the fourth. And he was also in that fight against Bahalio, and he got kind of nailed and he lost the decision, but only to come back in one of the most heroic efforts I've seen. He's 40 plus and he's still doing it, and he KOs RoboCop. Then you get to Michael Page, and since he's entered the UFC, he beats Holland. He loses to Gary, but man, that was close. And then he beats Magomedov, someone who's been mowing through people. He's a point fighter. He's an ex-Bellator star. So let's look at the odds here. Page is a minus 185. Cannonier a plus 154. Nico taking Page. Rich taking Cannonier. And I almost want to decide with Nico here because Page has a shot to just get a point victory and dance around. But I'm touching Cannonier because after that win against RoboCop, he's going to be hot. Page can't escape the bombs of our boy Cannonier. And I think it's going to come down to the round 3. He's going to get dropped, and Cannonier's going to get either a stoppage or he's going to get that decision. All right, let's move on. It gets crazy the rest of the way. Number 11 welterweight in the world, Jeff Neal versus number 12, Carlos Prates. Let's look at the records here. Man, this is a tough one. Neal 16-6, Carlos Prates 21-7. Let's look at what Jeff Neal has done. So listen, he's been kind of up and down. He knocks out Luque. He has that heroic effort against Rachmanov, but he does get submitted in the third. But he was in the fight. He impressed so many people, including Wally. And then a close loss to Gary, but then to come back and knock out RDA. But RDA, he's a lightweight. He always keeps going up to welterweight and losing. It's still a good win, but how great was that win? And then if you look at Prates, man, he came in, he was steamrolling everybody. Giles, Radke, Jinglang, Magny, all right in a row, KOs. And finally, he loses to Gary that I called, but it was a close fought battle. He just didn't really go enough in the early rounds, if we all remember. And then he did drop Gary in that final round and almost got a stoppage, but then lost the decision. So I think he's going to be smart enough to not take the time this time. So let's just look at the line. Prates is a minus 258. And so even though Rich is sick about it a little bit, we're all taking Prates. I just think that he's going to come out. He's going to look at what he did last time. He's going to go early. I don't know if he's going to knock out Neal, but he probably outstrikes him and gets the decision if he doesn't get a finish. Although Jeff Neal, look out for this one. He's going to be in the fight, baby. Okay, co-main, number 6 featherweight in the world, LaRon Murphy versus Aaron Pico, Bellator star newcomer. Let's look at the records here. LaRon Murphy, 16-0-1. He's never lost. Pico 13-4. Let's look at his history first because this is his debut. So he had been a highly touted Bellator star. As you can see from 2022, he's won 4 of 5. He beats Gonzalez, he beats Cavallo, and he beats Corrales, last 2 by knockout. So he's coming in really hot. He was highly touted. Maybe it's finally his time. Now, if we look back at LaRon Murphy, this guy has been on a crazy run, man. Look at this. He hasn't lost 6 straight wins in the UFC. He beats Barboza. He beats Ige. And then I'm still sore about it. I don't know if he beat Emmett there, but it was a real close decision. He is a phenomenal striker from the UK. Let's look at the odds here. Pico, shockingly, is actually a minus 148, even though he's had no UFC fights, but he's just such a stud. He's coming in hot off the 2 knockouts, and he does have great wrestling. So this one's real tricky. Nico taking Murphy. Rich going out on a limb and taking Pico. And I'm going to hold the fort and take Murphy. I don't trust the Bellator guys. Even though Pitbull did finally get that win, I just think that Pico's coming up way too high in class here. He's going against a UFC star who's never lost in a co-main spot. I don't know what Dana's doing. You should have had him start the night. This is way too much for him. I could be wrong, but I'm touching Murphy. Okay, main event. Du Plessis versus Chimaev, possibly fight of the year, middleweight title, a dream fight, something we've all been waiting for. Let's look at the records here. Du Plessis 23-2, Chimaev 14-0, never lost. Let's look at Du Plessis. I mean, this guy kind of came out of nowhere, and he beats Till, he beats Brunson, he beats Whitaker in shocking fashion. He beats Strickland to steal the belt, even though that was damn close, and Nico's still a little bit pissed about that, to then beat Adesanya and then Strickland in the rematch, and that one he definitely deserved. So this guy has not lost a UFC fight. Every time you doubt him, he just keeps getting better. He's got great grappling, unbelievable hands. He's unorthodox, but he's just a killer, man. He just does it all. He's just a beast. But he's standing across one of the most feared guys in recent memory, at least as far as grappling. He is the boogeyman himself, Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, look at what he's done. He beats Mearshart. He beats Jing Lang. He beats Burns, although Nico's still sick about that decision. He dominates Holland. Close fight against Usman. And then shocking win against Whitaker. We all thought Whitaker was going to stand up to this guy. Round one, breaks his jaw. And that one just leaves me just so distraught here with my pick. If we look at the line, Chimaev is a minus 225. So how do you doubt the guy, right? And so all three savvy bros are taking Du Plessis. I thought about taking Chimaev and screwing over the guys, but Nico's taking Du Plessis. Richie's taking Du Plessis. And you know what? I'm taking Du Plessis too. He's going to shock the world. He's finally going to solve the puzzle that is Chimaev. He's big enough. He's a hulking guy. He's going to be able to deal with the grappling. You heard it here first. Chimaev is going to take him down in the first round, but he's not going to get submitted like Whitaker. He's going to weather the storm. He's going to be able to get up. You can't keep Du Plessis down. And then in the second round, and then in the third round, Chimaev, he's not going to get the easy takedowns, a little bit more like Usman. He's going to get tired. And then when he does, Berserker will come for him, baby. He's going to get to the second. He's going to get to the third. And by the fourth round, Du Plessis might get a stoppage by TKO. The punches are going to start coming. So it's either Du Plessis by decision or Du Plessis by stoppage. You heard it here first, baby. If you want to argue with the Savvy Bros, bash us in the comments. But we're all taking Du Plessis, and we're riding with our homeboy in Chicago. Okay, that's it for this week. Thank you for listening to the MMA Savvy podcast, the world's top place for MMA content. If you love these weekly episodes, make sure to hit subscribe. And if you're a real MMA enthusiast, check out the old MMA Savvy videos on our page. You might see some UFC legends pop up, such as Fabricio Verdum, Ronda Rousey, and John Jones. The old channel has been revived, and we couldn't be more excited. So please subscribe, follow, comment, like, and share on all of our social channels. We're blasting hard on the talk, we're heavy on the gram, and we're going crazy on the tube. That's at MMA Savvy. And make sure to comment and challenge our takes if you have disagreements. We love the comments and interactions with the fans. So with that, stay savvy, fight fans.